Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today it is the internet's most favorite thing, tier list. The tier list update for June 2025, including the new Schemer meta with my homegirl SOUKA, among other characters. And this is we have a few to go over. We have some upgrades and some skill fusions to go through. We've got the free to plays, we have the free to play Tria, skill fusion, everything. So we do have a little bit to get to. But first off, if this is your first time seeing one of my tier lists specifically, now there are three things that I have to talk about in the beginning. First off is you will see some characters with this little rainbow colored image. That says that they have been skill fused, that they are an older character who has received an upgrade to one or both of their skills. It could be either or. And that's what the little rainbow icon means. The other little elemental icon means that they've received an EX upgrade. So they are older characters who now have access to the extra ability boards. If they're super old, they get EX alts, and you'll see these across the board. Some characters have both, some characters only have one. It really just depends on what the devs feel like at the time. And then the third thing I have to talk about now is that these tiers are arranged just by tier. There is no individual unit placement within each tier. So this Diablo being here does not mean he is number one god of the game. This means that all these characters are number one gods of the game. So that came up in one of my previously. So if you're in the god tier, you're very good. You're a god unit, and that's all you need to know. There is no individual ranking in between the five that are up here or the numbers of units that are in each tier. Just they're here. I generally just tack on the newest character to the end of each one because they're the newest, and that's the empty slot. So just keep that in mind. But let's tread backwards first, and let's start with the free-to-play characters. All right, so free to play battle units. We have the new Laplace, and then we got a skill fusion for the Goddess of Destiny Tria. She's very simple. I mean, she's already up in the top tier. She doesn't really go any higher. Her skill fusion, instead of an alt rush for specific forces, it's now just a generic 30% alt gauge increase across the board for green orbs, which is cool and fine and dandy and everything. It doesn't make her any better than what she already is, being a pure green orb changer, and that's great for what you need her to do. But it does make her a bit more generically useful for all teams that have specifically two teams. It's a very small buff to her skill. Like, it's not super impactful, and I haven't skill fused her, and I'm not going to because it's just not that impactful. But she is still a very good character regardless for free to play. And then we have the new Laplace, the first free to play character, or I think, first free to play character to give us follow up orbs on greens. So that's cool. He's generically good for that. His orb change is limited to Schemer, so he does have some limitation, but I think he is okay because he can orb change himself. But if you need follow up orbs or something, or you need multiple hits per turn, he's a free to play option, and he can certainly do that if you're running a green team. So I'm not going to put him directly in limited because at least his follow up skill can be used by anybody, but his orb change is certainly limited. So he's going to be okay. Like, I wouldn't put him any higher than this though. Moving on to the protectors, Gabru's garbage. He's just not good. I'm just sorry. He's just not good at all. And then we have Soe. So he's full converting greens plus a rainbow orb, which is fantastic. He's got the 30 free skill points per turn, which is pretty standard for all the burst protectors and everything. And he does have that stacking attack buff, which can go higher and higher if you add in multiple hits in the turn. So the follow-up orbs from Laplace, the multi-hits from Lumi or Protector P Sonata. Like, that's fairly good. And then you have the EX alt damage, which can fluctuate between 20% or 100%, depending on when you use it. First 5 turns is 100, after that it's 20, or maybe it's 40%. It's something low. He's really good. He's definitely solid. He's maybe not quite as good as Shuna, but he's still very good for what you need him to do. I mean, the attack stacks are universal, the EX alt damage is universal, the green orb changing and rainbow is universal. He's a very universally good protector for any team. that wants you to have green orbs. So he's gonna go into the godly tier because yeah, he's that good. You could say he's the power crept version of Exalted Champion Velzard. They're doing different things, yes, but they are very complementary to each other. And if he's just as good as Velzard and Velzard's in the top tier, well, guess where he's going. So I think in the next couple of months we'll probably drop Rimuru and Velzard down. I think they're still very good. I don't know if they're godly, so maybe we'll just do that now, actually. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, let's just move them down. Doesn't mean they're any worse, but they're quite old now. They're both over a year old. And in this game, power creep happens fast. So Velzard's still an excellent burst protector. Overlord Rimuru, if you are lucky enough to have him, can still be used in certain scenarios, but we definitely don't see him around nearly as much as we used to. So Himmel, Masayuki, Shuna, Soei, I'm pretty comfortable with that, actually. So, and then I don't really feel like moving anybody else forward. So, yeah, no, I think we're good there. All right, now for the big time list, the one that actually people care about. We have one small change to make, and by small I mean one that people have been screaming for the past couple of months, and that is Warrior's Mind 2.0 Violet. I said when she came out that she might jump up the list based on how useful she will be in the coming months. Well, it's been about 2 months and she's on almost every team. So, congratulations to all you Violet stands out there. She's moving up in the world. If you have her and you have Blanc, you pretty much have a good team. And you can pretty much put them on under any team and protect her, and they're probably going to work very well. So we have given her due time, and we have evaluated her usefulness, and we have determined that yes, she is quite good. So limitations be damned. She can, if you have Blanc and you have like Divine General Diablo, and you've got now the Schemer units as well down here. SOUKA's really good. Diablo is, damage dealer. Yeah, she's gonna work fine. So she gets the upgrade up to the top tier level. And now we move on to the EX upgrades and the skill fusions. This is very, very simple. Mirren's skill fusion made her slightly better, but not by much, so congratulations, you've moved up one tier. Your orb change is now cheaper, as it should have been to begin with, but it was not when G originally came out. Otherwise, you're still pretty bad still. Fire Violet, with her EX upgrade, first time she's gotten that, she is a damage-only character. Therefore, she's going into the damage-only tier. You do not support other teams support you. If you put her on a team and she makes no sense, then she's going to continue to make no sense, and that's about it. So, congratulations, you can do slightly more damage now. Excellent. And you did get a skill fusion, which is cool, but it just helps you do more damage for longer, I guess. So, not much to say about her. And then Protector of Peace, Shion and Hinata. I mean, Shion's down here. These EX upgrades for existing EX characters, like the EX Unbound upgrade from an existing EX character, does not really do that much. So they don't really get upgraded. When she gets a skill fusion, then we'll talk. And the same thing with Hinata. She will exist next to her base counterpart, because she really doesn't do that anything different. And now we can talk about the 3 new Schemer units. SOUKA, I think, is just a fantastic unit. She's a very cheap version of Divine General Diablo. Divine General Diablo has a green buff for 1 turn, and the multi-skill. SOUKA has a 3-turn buff with the sword gimmick, which you can either play into or not play into, the same way you could either play into the multi-skill with Diablo or you don't have to. He costs 0, she costs 15, but she only lasts for 3 turns versus 1 turn, so they have definite trade-offs. And then Diablo, 90 points, 100% synergy power across the board for everyone. SOUKA, 50 points, 100% for 5 turns. And then it drops down a bit to 50. But it's still really good for a 50 cost skill. So she is just a luxury, kind of slightly power crept version of Divine General Diablo, who is still very useful. SOUKA, I think, is also top tier worthy. Lumi is very much a gimmick character, playing into the gimmick that the Schemer team wants, the multi-hits and everything. Her support buff is good. It does require synergy, though, because she's doing synergy resistance down. But her physical buff is fairly generic. So, you know what? I think she's good. If her other skill was not so gimmicky, I would move her up into the great or even the amazing tier. But she does need another character to activate her full buff, and her other skill, if you're not using it, is kind of just useless. So she's very good. And maybe we revisit her as well in the next couple of months and maybe move her up, depending on how much usefulness she actually gets out of the next couple of metas. But then we move into Diablo, who, by my tier list law, is a triple orb stealer. Therefore, he needs to go into the S tier at minimum. Otherwise, he is just a damage character. Like, if he didn't have a triple orb steal and he had the alt swap or something, he would be damage only. And he would exist. He's got that personal, selfish AoE damage and space plus damage buff. It's only for him. His orb steal changes or steals everyone but light character orbs, so like Hero or Fern or Freerin or Blanc or New Year's Blessing Rimuru. Like, he wouldn't take those orbs, which, I made a big hubbub about it. It will become something of an issue. It will become an annoyance sometime in the future. Maybe not now, because the game is built around his team. But there will be a time where you forget about that tiny little fact and you're going to use it and be like, wait, what the fuck? So, by law, he will be up in the triple, in the S tier. Just like Lumi. She would be in damage only as well, but she's also a triple orb stealer. So, there we go. Actually, we need to move him in front of Daggerel. But that is... that is the list. Diablo outside of his team, I mean, as long as you make him the primary focus and you make him the damage dealer, yeah, he'll do a butt ton of damage. No shit. But he doesn't bring much to another team except being a triple orb stealer. And if that's not what that team needs, then you're just not going to bring him. So he's up in S tier by default. Otherwise, both him and Lumi would be back down into the damage only tier. But that is the tier list update for June of 2025. Let me know how you guys feel. I'm sure a lot of people are happy that I moved Violet up finally. People might have some questions about Diablo and Lumi, but otherwise, I think it's pretty fair for what we see right now. It is a very gimmicky team trying to play into the whole finishing multi-orb kind of thing, but it is excess damage that you can just kind of count on. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.